Hello, Rob here from the Flanagan Homestead and East Fork Christmas Tree Farms. Today's Christmas tree video is us visiting Farrell Farms in Washougal, Washington. They've been growing Christmas trees for nearly 40 years, and we're going to go see how they do their operation and things that they've learned over the past several years, and hopefully glean a little bit of knowledge. Please forgive the small amount of audio problems that are there. It was a super windy day that caused a little bit of problems with the audio. I have enough video that I'm going to separate this into 3 short videos. This is the first one. The next one will be coming out soon. Hello, Rob here from the Flanagan Homestead and East Fork Christmas Tree Farms. Today I have the opportunity to visit a fairly local, not too close to us, Christmas tree farm where I'm at Farrell Farms today with the owners Scott and Heidi. And I love visiting farms. Love to visit yours someday, but every time I go out here and do this, I learn something new and I meet some people that usually end up becoming friends, so I'm excited to be out here today. They're busy getting ready for the season. You're opening next weekend, right?
Yep, Friday.
And so I'm going to try to not take too much of their time, but let's learn their story.
See, I like to talk trees.
I do too. All right, first things first, I want to know the story of your farm, how you guys got into this, how many acres you have, and just start talking and I'll question you guys.
Yeah. So we planted in 1981. My dad planted this field. It was 12 acres, 20,000 trees at first, and then we bought property. My dad bought property adjoining it, another 22 acres over there. And then we have hay field out there that we planted, and we ended up planting another 9 acres. Just grew up working the farm and with my brother and my sister, and in 1990 we opened for the first time, and then in 1994 my dad passed away, and so my brother, my sister, and I took it over, and then my brother moved to Bend for work at golf courses, and so just now it's just my sister and us, and we've been doing it since on our own from '94. We're just kind of adding to it. It started off 12 acres, and then we got up to probably around 25 acres, and now we both have full-time jobs, so now we're downsizing and we're around 20 acres.
After 20 acres. So, but there's 2 families running this then, or you and your sister?
Sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So down to 20 acres. How many trees do you expect to sell this year?
We usually go between 1,000 to 1,500, depending. Sometimes we're open every day. Sometimes we're open just the weekends, depending on our inventory. This year we have a really good inventory, so we're going to be open every day but Monday. So we'll see. We're kind of, it usually seems like it's between that 1,000 to 1,500.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your biggest day? This is something not specific to your farm, but I think it's been changing over the years for us. But like, if you were open all year long, what would be your biggest day, or what do you expect on sales day?
Yeah, it's changed over the years, and I know you've referenced that before. Definitely, it's earlier now, wouldn't you say? And it's a little bit weather dependent, or a lot weather dependent. So if you take now, I think it'll be Thanksgiving weekend, probably. People will look at the weather forecast and they'll pick the nicest day. So
yeah. The nicest day on the weekend.
But Thanksgiving weekend, I think, that's shifted since just about COVID time. It's shifted that Thanksgiving weekend's the busy weekend.
Yeah, people are really pushing Christmas forward.
Absolutely.
When we first started selling trees, we were pretty comparable first and second weekend in December.
Yeah.
And second weekend in December, people are done now.
Yeah.
First weekend's still solid, but Thanksgiving is definitely. And now people are opening this weekend before Thanksgiving, which is crazy.
Yeah.
We had people last weekend buy some trees.
Yeah, we weren't even open, but they drove in. So
we drove in. We said, okay.
If you have a Christmas tree farm, you're going to have drop-ins this time of year.
Yeah.
Closed or open, it doesn't matter. All right, so typical weekend day, Thanksgiving or first weekend in December, you're going to be busy. Yeah. How many people do you have helping you? What's it look like here? Where does everybody park? How does it? What are you individually doing?
Well, we have parking all along this triangle road here, and that's where everybody files in. And then She's in charge of the hiring, so it's usually around 10 kids, high school
Yeah,
kids.
we usually hire about 10 high school or post-high school kids to work, and then I'm working, you're working,
Brother-in-law,
your
sister.
sister and brother-in-law are working. So crew of about 15, I guess, on a busy day.
Yep.
And yeah, people come in, they park their car, they come in, they get a name tag, they go out, they look for their tree, they tag it, then they can cut it themselves if they want. Some people love to do that. Some people like us to cut it, so we have kids driving around in gators with trailers with saws, and if you flag them down, they'll cut the tree, and they bring them back here and they shake them and bale them. They get measured when they go through the baler. Then they bring their tag to me over at the pay shack, and that's when they pay, and they can get cocoa and cider and candy canes. Some people,
So you take the money.
I take the money.
That's my
Yeah.
job too.
Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned something interesting. We don't do, but we need to do. You said that they grab a tag with their name on it. Is that
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
Okay, that's excellent. Because on our farm, we have people bringing trees in, and we pick them up. I think you mentioned you have people bring them in
Yeah.
on a trailer and whatnot. And on our farm, they bring in trees, and then the people come 10 minutes later.
Yes.
There's a stack of trees by the shaker. And I've had sent boys out with, you put yellow flags, one on the top, one on the bottom, you put orange flags, but just putting a name on it was probably
Yeah, ideally, usually that works, and they tie it to the top. It's like a long red and white ribbon, and they write their name on it. And usually that works, and then they're baled up and they sit on that rack with their name showing. Sometimes people accidentally take the wrong tree home, and that does happen usually
that's
once
where
or
it
twice a
stemmed
year.
From putting the name on it.
Yeah.
We've had some issues with that.
Yeah, but
And we haven't put
usually
it on the
works.
top, because if you put it on the side, it gets baled up, and then you're like digging
Yeah.
for it. So
Yeah, it usually works pretty well.
my sister
Is the greeter,
is the greeter,
and she gives them one of these tags, writes their last name on it. That's what they take out to tie on their tree.
I need to do that.
And then sometimes people pre-tag their trees. They come the first day, pre-tag their tree, and come later and cut it down.
So there's been a lot of discussion about tagging trees
Yes.
and the frustrations with that, but you still allow that.
We do allow the pre-tagging with just warning that we cannot guarantee that the tree will still be there, because we can't control what people do out in the field. So if somebody loves your tree and they take your tag off,
it's happened.
Yeah, we've run into that.
Yeah.
but usually it's okay if we give them a lot of ribbon and they tag the tree well. It's usually still there. And we don't have a lot of people do that, but a few. But it usually works.
When you pre-tag, do they pay for it or
No.
they wait for
No.
it till they get it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's when we still pre-tagged, we're like, no, you pay us when you take the tree, because we don't know if the tree is going to be there
Yeah,
or
yeah.
not,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, and we had a group of 3 sisters who would come every year and pre-tag their tree on the first day, and they would bring tons of,
Caution
caution
tape
tape and bells and everything, and just well mark their tree. And one year I could see that their tree was right over here, like on a weekday. I'm like, oh, I wonder when they're gonna come back and get their tree. So I saw that it was there, and then the next day I came and it was gone. And somebody had come in the middle of the night and probably cut it. And wouldn't you know, that lady came that day to get her tree. She was understanding, she got a different one, but still, you can't control things, so.
All right, so is there anything unique or special about your farm? Well, they're all special, but what would you say is a draw for your farm?
The noble fir are all hand pruned, no knife shearing.
Yeah, that
more
is one
natural.
thing people like. I mean, some people love a knife sheared noble. We don't do that. We hand trim our nobles. Some of them, and so we take every tree individually. I'm the trimmer of the trees along with Scott's sister. We trim the trees starting in the middle of July, and we just finished not so long ago.
Yeah.
And but we take every tree differently. If it's a real full tree, we might shear it tighter. If it's a really beautiful natural tree, we'll kind of leave it to be a little bit that way. So we both, Scott's sister and I, like different types of trees. So we take each tree as it comes. So some are going to be more spacey, some are going to be fuller, and
Okay, that brings up another interesting point. I like a little bit more open noble, but we don't have that on our farm because we're in production. We're shearing.
Yeah, which is faster.
Plus, I think seed source has something to do with it. As I drove in, even before I first saw you, I said, I like there a little bit more openness on a lot of the nobles that I saw. Is there a seed source that you're going after that produces that better, or it's just the way you're shearing it?
I think it's the way we're sharing it. We haven't been super picky about our seed source. We always get our seedlings from the same place. And I guess we usually get roughly the same seed source. But I think it's the way we're trimming it. And if we keep, the leaders longer or shorter or, depending.
Do you know the seed zone?
I have it written down. I think we've used the 440 and the 259. Is that right? That's just off the top of my head. But
I was thinking you were going to say 252.
Maybe it was 252. It could be. It could be. I have it written down. So, but I'm not sure. But we've really. So I love a really natural noble. Skinny, tall, but natural. So that kind of I trim it in, but I leave. I don't like a clipped end on any of them. If I have the noble in my house, it can't have a clipped
natural
end. So it has to have natural tips.
Yeah.
However, I know not everybody likes that. So we do a variety.
I understand what you're saying, but I've noticed that most of my customers don't even notice.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't even know the types of trees. So they say they want one thing, but they get a different thing. So they don't
want
know.
a
And
noble,
we've really
but end up with the Nordman.
And we've started planting a lot of Nordman and Turkish, and we sold probably equal amounts.
We used to be
50% Nordman, 50% nobles last year, I would say.
We used to be 80% probably nobles.
Or more. Yeah, but
we used to have some monsters.
But our Nordman and our Turkish are beautiful, and those are pretty full trees. So
I'm a fan of Nordman.
Yeah.
My wife has said that it's the only thing that's going in our house.
Yes.
But that might not be true this year because all of our tall Nordmans are gone, and now we're back on that cycle again. But we're trying to increase the percentage of the fields planted in Nordman as opposed to Noble. Although we love the Nobles, but we're moving that up.
Yes.
So we have mostly Noble, Nordman, then Grandfir, then Doug. What varieties are you selling?
Same. We have Nobles, Nordman, and Turkish. We have both, which a lot of people can't tell the difference. Dougs, we sell a handful of Dougs. We have them. A lot of the Dougs we sell are just naturally seeded from.
If it lands in the right place.
Sometimes those are the nicest ones. We do plant some, but the naturally seeded ones are actually sometimes the nicest. We changed where our Grandfirs are planted a few years ago. So our Grandfirs are mostly 5 feet and under. We have a few that might be 6 or 7, but most of them are 5 feet and under. So we don't really advertise too much on the Grandfirs just because we really don't have them.
The height
of them.
Well, I had a good time talking with Scott and Heidi Farrell of Farrell Christmas Tree Farms. It's always good to meet more Christmas tree farmers. I learn something every time I meet people, and I always enjoy talking to them. I hope the audio worked pretty good. It has really been windy today, and it's been a cold day. Thanks for joining me on the Flanagan Homestead, where Christmas trees are my business, teaching and cleaning horticulture is my job, and outdoor projects are my passion. Hope to see you again soon. Be blessed, everyone.